first realize that you were going to create the Gr8ness clothing brand, and how did you come up with the name?
As far as that, man, like I said, I always been big on like clothes as far as, but I ain't not the designer and all of that crap. I like skateboard stuff. I like, you know what I'm saying, stuff with a meaning, stuff with a purpose, even black owned stuff, you know what I'm saying. Like I started liking stuff like that. So I just seen like, entrepreneurship was really like becoming the wave at that time. Like it hadn't really picked up like now, but then it was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying, like you better go ahead and get you something going, like, because if you missing this train right now, by the time everybody who is on it, they gonna be probably like 10 years ahead of you, and you playing catch up for the rest of it, you know what I'm saying. So at that point I sat down, man, at the computer, dog. I just stared at it. I just scrolled through Google and stuff like that, man. I was just like, dog, I gotta find something to do, you know what I'm saying. I got a friend, he got a clothing brand, you know what I'm saying. He was doing his thing with it. He was being successful with it. So I was just like, when it first came into my mind, I was kind of like, nah, I don't want to do it, man, because he doing it, so I don't want to seem like I'm kind of like, trying to do it because he did it, or do it because somebody else over there doing it. I was like, I'm gonna try to do something different. So I tried to play with other stuff, dog, to see what clicked with me, and nothing really came back right then. So I dove into clothing, man, and I always been good at drawing, art, and stuff like that. I went to a fine art school when I was younger, so I'm in art class. I'm drawing and stuff like that a lot. You know what I mean? Just like I like doing stuff where I gotta be creative, like where I gotta test myself, test my mind, and just come up with something from scratch, and come up with something new. You know what I'm saying? So I sat up, man, and I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna try to go through with the clothing thing. Sat down, came up with a name. You know what I'm saying? I always was like Gr8ness. Just the word was something that I always loved, because I just was like, okay, everybody on this earth for a purpose. And the reason, if you ain't on here chasing greatness or trying to do something like that, or if you doing something and you're not trying to be great in it, then you just wasting time. So everything I did, I went hard at it. So again, I wanted to be great at it. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like, okay, if I do something as far as clothing, I wanted to symbolize something. I wanted to mean something. I don't want to just drop something because, it's a tight name right now. I want something with some longevity. I wanted something that I could transfer into other avenues, and greatness can apply to anything. You know what I'm saying? So that was number one. But I wanted it to be different. I didn't like the word just greatness. You know what I'm saying? So at this time, man, a lot of crazy stuff was going on in the world, from like the backlash from Mike Brown's and Trayvon Martin situations, and Sandra Bland situation. Like all of this stuff is like back to back to back, like, and at this time I was like, bro, like these white people, bro, like they clicking up and they taking us out because they know how to, you know what I'm saying, pinpoint and hit our weak points, bro, and take advantage of it. So I was like, we gotta learn how to do the same thing. So that's what I wanted the Gr8ness to transition into. Greatness in the black community, greatness in my city of Macon, greatness in everything that, you know what I'm saying, we doing around here. Because really, honestly, this city could be a lot better, you know what I'm saying, if the right people came together to do the right stuff, man, and take out the jealousy, take out the envy. Because you got people that only want to do stuff just because they want to say that they did it by themselves, and if they don't want to attach nobody else to it, because they don't want to give nobody else credit for it, they just want all the credit. You know what I'm saying? So
it's definitely a thing.
That's why, I just was like, hey man, you gotta try to make a difference. So I started off with that, man, and it started with being local, but then it got to the point where, like, man, if it's happening here, bro, it's probably happening everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, all right, let's focus the brand on being that globally. You know what I'm saying? So that's when I came up with the logo with the black hands. A lot of people just look at it because I just chose the hand, but my actual logo is a pair of hands, African American man hands. You know what I'm saying? With the globe, Gr8ness clothing around it. You know what I mean? And if you pay close attention, it's Africa. I got Africa facing right in the middle of it. So when they holding it, it's showing Africa number one, because that's where we come from. Number one, we got to get to knowing our history on stuff like that, and that's just, you know what I'm saying, that's where everybody in this world that's walking this earth is originated from, right there in that spot. You know what I'm saying? So that's the beginning of it all. So with that being said, that's where the 8 come from in greatness. 8 symbolizes a new beginning. 8 symbolizes a refresh, starting something new. And that's what we need to do, like within the black community, within just, you know, everything we doing around us, within our city. You got to start over fresh and take the mold away, because you got people that was doing stuff a certain kind of way years ago because that's what they had to do. But we don't have to do it that way. You know what I'm saying? We can do something different. We could try that shit another way. We got like right now in this day and age, it's more black people with money than there's ever been before, like in powers of position. You know what I'm saying? But that come to, you know, sometimes you got Uncle Toms who just gonna piggyback with the white people because they don't, you know, they don't want to uplift us, or they don't want to, you know, bring up what we got going on. They see the stuff going on. They see the killings, all the stuff going on, police brutality. They see all of that stuff, but they turn the blind eye to it. You know what I'm saying? Just because they trying to stay in, you know, good standings with them. And it's hard for most people to just stand out and just like say, hey, nah, that's wrong, and then let's do something about it, because they know it's backlash coming from behind it, because look who doing it to us. I mean, granted, we have a lot of stuff going on within ourselves, but I mean, it's deeper than just black people killing black people. Lack of resources, you know what I'm saying, lack of jobs, lack of stuff. I mean, that provokes crime. That's a statistic that shows that even no matter what race, you put any race or any type of species in an area, and you can find them, and you take away resources and stuff like that, it got to the point where you're gonna have killing, you're gonna have taking. You gotta do what you gotta do to survive. So that's where that come from. But yeah, man. So that I thinking about all that, I dove in and I threw all of that into greatness clothing. You know what I'm saying? Put a meaning with it. So if anybody asks, I can tell you from top to bottom. Nobody just asked me, hey, so why you got a brand? Or what's the name of your brand, and what does it mean? A lot of people got brands that can't even tell you what it means. They probably can tell you one sentence, but they can't go into deep. You know, I like stuff, like I said, I read certain books and stuff like that, so I want everything to have a meaning. I want you to learn something from a conversation. I could just have a conversation with you about, like I say, my clothing. Some people don't know certain stuff about the number 8. Some people don't know certain stuff about Africa, but you get a class course right then, and it make you might want to go learn something like that. Now, with the clothes, I didn't want to just make it just, you know, black power stuff, you know what I'm saying? So I still have my own little, you know, drip to it, my own swag to it. I put my own stuff to it, creativity to it. So I still wanted to look good. I still wanted to look dope. I still wanted to be something that could be designer or, you know, graphic tees and stuff like that. So I still wanted to be on that level, but, you know what I'm saying, it's black on. You know what I'm saying? Because when you look at stuff like Sean John and Fat Farm and all that stuff like that, it had its time, but it don't last because, excuse me, we'd rather put, you know what I'm saying, our dollar and stuff into something that, you know, other people put as high priority or high, you know, value stuff. Like, it symbolized something when you got on Gucci, or it symbolized something when you got on Prada and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? And that's what kicked off, you know, that's what killed off all the other black brands, because once you start doing that and you wearing Nike and all of that, it was a wrap for that. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to, you know, piggyback off of stuff like that, you know, from people who went hard with what they did, and they, you know, they like from Dame Dash, like I said, doing what he did with clothing and all of this stuff. Dame John doing what he did, you know, from Fubu to Coogee, you know what I'm saying, to all of the stuff that he did, man. He played a big role in all of that stuff, you know what I mean? So, and he played a big role in the foundation of a lot of clothing companies and opened the door for people to even think how I'm thinking to do it, you know what I'm saying? So I watched them, I learned, put my own thing on, put my own thing going, and I went in full head steam, and I've been rolling ever since, to be honest, man. So